We've got Jonathan Fortner with us. I know he popped in there for just a moment. I don't want to bring it up and have it. There we go. So let's go ahead and bring Jonathan in with us here at the news desk. We're speaking with Mr. Fortner, President and CEO of Lignite Energy Council, one of North Dakota's newly appointed members of the reestablished National Coal Council. He brings industry experts and practical perspective to this important federal advisory body. Mr. Fortner, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
You got it. So why is this appointment significant for North Dakota and for the lignite energy?
Well, so the reestablishment of the National Coal Council is an important thing, and really what it does is it brings industry stakeholders together in order to kind of share information. And this is a nationwide council of about 50 or so different folks from industry, whether that's power plants or coal mining or even on the research side. And we get together and really, we're the ones who are producing the power that keeps the grid stable. It provides the reliability and the base load electricity that we're seeing, really through all of these winter storm events that we're having when the temperatures plummet and the grid demand goes up. Having coal on the system is what makes, the grid stable, and it's the reason we're talking more about reliability than we are rolling blackouts, to be honest. But what the council then would do is we have a couple meetings a year. We're going to issue some studies and reports and really put together kind of the reality of what's going on the ground from an energy production standpoint, and what things maybe need to be changed from a policy standpoint in order to make the industry thrive into the future and make sure that we can meet the growing demand, whether that's from artificial intelligence, from data centers, or any other thing moving forward.
Can I ask you, what was your reaction to the reestablishment of the National Coal Council?
Excitement. The Coal Council has a long history of being able to provide policy guidance and issue study reports to give the policymakers the real world information that they need in order to make their decisions. Under the previous administration, the Coal Council was allowed to basically kind of dissolve, much to our concern. And so under the new administration, National Coal Council has now been reauthorized, kind of recharged, if you will. And so there was a meeting a couple weeks ago where we had representatives from the Department of Energy, Department of Interior, and the National Energy Dominance Council together, really kind of saying, hey, we're excited, we want to do this. Please work with us and make sure that we know what's going on in real time. And we've got this window of opportunity to make a lot of changes for the positive. And where that matters most, again, is back for North Dakotans, would be in a stable and reliable grid. The lignite, the coal that is in North Dakota, we have an 800-year supply. It provides over 12,000 jobs in our state, in our region, provides over $100 million in local and state tax revenue. But it also makes sure that we have what we need to keep that going. But North Dakota ratepayers should know that according to the Energy Information Administration, North Dakota has the most affordable or lowest residential rates in the nation. And that's largely in part of what the coal industry has brought to the state.
What do you think is the council's most urgent areas of focus in the next year in front of you?
Well, it's really finding, EPA, there's been a lot of rules that have been rolled back under the current administration. So we're waiting for those to be finalized. Not sure exactly where those go. I would assume a lot of those end up in a legal process that we'll obviously be a part of. It's trying to figure out how to meet growing demands that are out there. We've seen unprecedented growth kind of across the country, whether in artificial intelligence space, where that could be data centers or other things. We've got opportunities over the horizon as well, as far as we have critical minerals and rare earth elements in the coal that we have in the state. And from a national security standpoint, China controls 95% of those minerals that we have here in our lignite. So trying to move those programs and projects forward is of utmost interest for us. but it's, again, we've got an administration right now that's focused on trying to push those forwards, and so it's kind of all hands on deck to make sure that the information is getting to the policymakers, so we can have some significant achievements on that side of the process.
Mr. Fortner, North Dakota often plays an outsized role in baseload power and energy reliability. What kind of unique perspectives does the state bring to the national conversation?
So, I mean, North Dakota, I mean, we feed and fuel the world, right? There's a lot to be proud of here, whether that's oil production, the agriculture economy as well. And so, lignite coal, I mean, we've, as I said before, we've got an 800-year supply, here within this state. We mine around 25 million tons on an annual basis. And I think, it's a large percentage of the power that we produce is what runs the oil industry. So they're able to produce, and from that, 52% of the state's revenues comes from oil production. We're helping to power that. We're providing the jobs. A lot of the rural communities in North Dakota are supported by that. We've got the rural
Mm-hmm.
co-ops and others. So it's really important for the state from so many different levels. And again, it's not just about an industry, but it's the reliable grid. And when you think about the grid, what is that? Well, it's that the schools have lights, that hospitals have lights and electricity, right? It's that, water doesn't run in pipes into your home without electricity. The oil doesn't flow that funds a lot of what our state government and counties run on. So we're really kind of the backbone of all things in North Dakota. And just trying to make sure that message also resonates here, but also back up to the national level as well.
Is it important that policymakers hear directly from operators, miners, engineers, and energy researchers? Why do you feel it's important?
Sure. I mean, a lot of times decisions get made out in Washington, D.C. by people who have never, picked up a wrench, a shovel, operated anything, and they're dictating kind of how an industry should operate. And if you came out and you actually met with us or toured the facility and you'd say, hey, that new rule that you're proposing doesn't work, and we can show you all of the reasons why, and then the cost associated with the rule that then falls to the ratepayer, it's really unnecessary more times than not. So, it's just one of those things of, it's, you may read it in a textbook and think you know what it is, but until you've had the hands-on experience, that's really what we're trying to provide, is just the background and information. If you're going to make policy, at least have it be informed by people that do that work.
North Dakota fleet is aging. Major upgrades come with big price tags. Are ratepayers prepared for the cost of keeping older coal facilities online and compliant?
Sure. So a lot of our coal facilities, proudly we've been out there, 40, 50 years or so, and every couple of years, those power plants they go through an outage. So they would shut down a unit at the plant, and they go in and kind of get retrofitted. And so when you talk about an aging plant in North Dakota, really the only thing that's aging is the concrete that it sits on and the siding on the outside of the building. Basically everything on the inside has been turned over and upgraded at some point in time. That can cost, significant millions of dollars to do those. 60% of the coal fleet in North Dakota is owned by rural electric co-ops, cooperative members. And so, really it's something that it's an investment, and it keeps the rates low. As I was just saying, North Dakota's got the lowest rates in the nation. And we have coal plants that maybe are 50 years, old. So obviously the finances have been managed in a way that the upgrades have been made. There's been a long outlook and outlay of financial resources to make sure that those plants are here long into the future.
What outcomes do you hope that the council's recommendations will achieve for energy reliability and affordability?
Sure. So right now, we just kicked it off a couple weeks ago. There's proposals for studies that we're kind of providing feedback on right now. I think there'll be a series of studies that follow that. And largely it's, if you've got 50 members that are across the country, we all have a little bit different angle, whether it's a different type of coal, a different process, a different boiler system, turbines, and again, like we've got other opportunities as well, whether that's carbon capture used for enhanced oil recovery here in the state, whether that's development of the critical minerals that's found in our coal, and whether that's increasing the tonnage that we are able to mine and produce for large load customers such as a data center or artificial intelligence, cloud computing. There's just a lot of excitement in our industry that we haven't had for some time, and we've got an administration that's looking to find ways to boost that.
Mr. Fortner, what do you feel will be your contributions to the council?
Well, that's to be determined at the moment. In this state, we've got a long history with the Lignite Research Council, along with the Lignite Energy Council. We just celebrated as the LEC, the Lignite Research Energy Council. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary a year ago. We have got a ton of research projects that we have done on all the things that I've mentioned. So here's another avenue where we can share that. I think we're unique in the country that we have a state-supported research council that looks into all these issues. So I think it's just another channel we can get that information up to the federal level, and hopefully that helps the industry in other parts of the country as well.
As we look ahead, what gives you the most optimism about North Dakota's energy future?
Well, I think reality is starting to hit people, right? There's been a push for a number of years, whether that's climate change or global warming or whatever you call it. I mean, that's all good, and whether you believe in it or not, we all have a role to play in our society. And so I think, from our industry's perspective, we were the first in the country that did mine reclamation. So as we go ahead and mine the land, we're all surface mining here in North Dakota. All of that is a very detailed and regulated process with the Public Service Commission, where we turn all of the land that has been mined back to the way it was before we mined. So we think that's very pro-environment and a good thing for us to do as an industry. We've managed just about every one of the emissions that comes out of our power plants down to well below the levels that Congress and the EPA have set. And we just have more opportunities moving forward, and it's more from a geopolitical standpoint. If critical minerals are in our phones, they're in our our national defense systems, whether that's radars, missile technology, in our tanks, in our ships, in our planes. Do we want China controlling 95% of that supply, or is that something that we have here? It's a natural resource that we're already producing, and we've got another use that we can provide it to. So I think all of those things benefit not only North Dakota, but our country as a whole. And we're excited that we have an administration that's also sees that opportunity and wants to remain with the grid being stable, and it has kind of paused any of the policies that the federal government has put out, whether that's regulatory or through Congress, to really kind of try and shut down this industry, when reality says if you want the grid to function when the weather gets really hot, really cold, we've got coal, we're mining it, we have a 3-week supply at our power plants. So no matter what happens, we can continue to feed those plants. And I think we've seen there's this last week we had a really significant winter storm. I think it was Fern is the name that they gave it. There was inches of ice on trees in Tennessee and in places where it doesn't happen very much. And across all of the different regional transmission organizations, or the regional grids, coal was the main source of electricity that kept those grids from going down. And that's just something that's unique for coal. We're blessed to have it. It's something that we're proud of. And I just think that we'll see more people realize, like, hey, yes, we can do good things for the environment, but also I want the lights to turn on. I want the heat to happen in my house. We need to make sure society still functions the way that we all believe it should in a first world society.
Jonathan Fortner, congratulations, first of all, on the appointment to the Coal Council. And you are, of course, President, CEO of the Lignite Energy Council, one of North Dakota's newly appointed members for the Coal Council. Thank you so much for your time today. I sure appreciate it, and explaining us in detail of what the National Coal Council is.
Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Have a great weekend. You bet. All right, 46 minutes now past the hour. We'll take a break here at the news desk. We'll come right back with some more news here on the KFYR Plus News Desk.